considering that to be an event that would either cause organ affecting in some capacity or some other component that would constitute health affecting?
Yes, it may not be at the organ level, it could be at the cellular or tissue level. But at the end, there's some damage to or compromise of its structure or function. With respect to mental health, it may not be structural, but rather impacting functionality.
And in terms of either of those two conditions, does interval of time come into play for the purposes of constituting whether something is health affecting?
Yes, I think for some reactions, whether they're reflective of any level of damage to health or not, some may occur very acutely on a short-term basis and may result in damage. There are loud enough sounds that can impair hearing. There are bursts of exposures to chemicals that themselves can inflict damage, but if the same amount of chemicals, say, were administered over several hours, would not have that same impact on the tissues of the human.
But in terms of the actual adverse effects, does that condition have to be permanent or last for a certain period of time in order for it to constitute health affecting?
That's a really good question. Obviously, we all suffer from some diseases that are from which we recover, and unfortunately, many of us suffer from diseases that are progressive, from which we won't recover. So it depends, first of all, whether the stimulus or the exposure, the cause, can initiate the disease process and needs to stay around to propagate the disease response.
If you could turn to page 11 of your testimony. Let me know when you're there.
I have it.
Okay. And in the answer to question 22, you indicate that the Health Canada study demonstrates no clear or consistent association between wind turbine noise and any health effect. What constitutes clear and consistent association?
Well, I don't think it even approaches the idea of sporadic associations, but in epidemiology, we look toward a body of evidence to see that there's a trend or a tendency across studies. And in determining causation, we want to see that studies conducted in different settings with different methodologies and different populations come to a similar conclusion with some variability, of course. So I would say there's no such consistency. In fact, there's a lack of actual health effects observed.
with respect